Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're working on this bat enemy for our dungeon, and yesterday we got them stopping at a good distance around us. So we can hit them with our spellcast once we program that collision in there. But we need to once they get that close, they need to trigger into an attack state so that they can start attacking us and that we can start hitting them. So I think what I want to do is start working on what the attack would look like. So I think what I want to do is we can either have the bats kind of change sprites once they are close enough. Like, I'm thinking like angry eyes or something to indicate that they're about to attack or something. And then maybe there's a specific kind of animation for when they release a attack, like they spit acid at you. So I'm trying to think of what a decent way of going about that is. I think for right now, maybe what we can do is maybe we can just render them red for now if they are in quote-unquote attack state. So I guess we can have... And I'm trying to think, because the tracking is only in this bat walk state. So I think bat walk state is a bad way to call this, because we kind of need to... You know what? I guess what we could do... Yeah, okay. So here's what I'm thinking, is we make a bat attack state. And once we get this player, right? Once the distance to the player is less than 10, then we need to trigger a bat attack state, and the bat attack state will then fire, an attack every 3 seconds or something that spits right at the player. And then we can do a check in the bat attack state and say, if our distance to player is greater than 10, then we need to go back into pursue state. So maybe we call this bat pursue state or something, and then bat attack state. So like, you pursue until you're in range, then you attack. Once the player goes out of range, you switch back to pursue, and you go about that. So I kind of think that's a decent thing. So let's just take a look. We have a couple of different things for our bat walk state. Yeah, we don't need a handful of this stuff, but it'd be nice if we set our animations, if our attack has a different animation. Also have access to the entity for the given bat, so we can only change it for that given bat, and then in the update we can check if it needs to switch to pursue state. So I think that'll be the first thing, is like just try to get the states switching for the bats. So let's add a bat attack state here. Yeah, so let's make a new file, bat attack state. And I don't exactly remember how we format it. It's something like, I'm going to try to guess, and then we'll compare. Bat attack state. We want to say that the state, it like includes, I don't remember how we do it. Includes base state. That's not right. That's not right. But then something like this. Something like this. I know this is wrong, but it's something like that. Class includes gets base state. So we were close-ish. So if we go here, it looks like we need to say we get a class, and that class includes equals our base state for our state machine. Okay. And then, did we have it right where it's just init, update, and render? Yeah. So we can do this where we get entity and scene, and we need scene and entity. Okay. So for right now, we won't change the animations, but we probably will at some point. But right now, we'll just define it as their own, as the corrupted bat animations. But then we basically want to render the same exact way, except this time, if we're in the bat attack state, we'll just tint it red so that we can determine if we're in the attack state or not. So let's go back to the walk state, and we'll look at where we're doing the render, and it's pretty easy. So we snag an animation from the current animation for our entity, and we just draw from our global textures at whatever the animation's texture is at the quad of whatever the current frame is for the animation at the entity's X and Y position. Okay, so if I were to say, let us set color to be red, and then let's just make sure we're setting our color to be white here. Then we need to change state from our bat walk state to a bat attack state. So we need to give our entity a different state for us to change to. Hey, what's up, Squinch? Yeah, we need to kind of declare when we insert the entity, we need to come in here and say that this bat has another state that we can possibly change to. And right here, we're cycling through. No, not this. Okay, I don't like that we're doing this. We're hard coding in the entities to turn on. Why are we doing that? Oh, well, we are cycling through. Okay, we want to... Right now what we're doing is we say, okay, at a map 112, we get all these entities. Then we say, okay, well, now let's loop through all the entities in that table so that we can give them things like their initial animations and their initial states. So we're saying if it's a bat, we're going to have, we need our new bat attack state. And we do this. And we need to import this bat attack state, but it takes in an entity as well as a scene, but it doesn't look like we're using the scene, so I'm just going to plop in the entity, which would be the .entities table at the ith index. And then now our bat should have a bat attack state we can change to, but we need to tell our game that this bat attack state lives as a file. So we'll say here in bat walk state, we need bat attack state as well. Okay, so now when we change to a bat walk, we do it with this line where we say, oh, we actually do it. We say change state, entity idle. But once we're in the entity idle state, where is that? We have a change to bat walk state here, depending on the entity type. Okay, so we just need to run the change state method on our self entity to be bat attack, bat hyphen attack, if we reach that close range. So what we can do is in our bat walk state, we should change this to bat pursue state, because that makes more sense. Because pursuing, it'll track us, right? It'll track us and follow us. And then we want to do something here where if we are in this range, what is the range? Right here. In the process AI, if our entity's distance to our player is greater than 10, meaning we're out of attack range, then go ahead and move us closer. But we can do this where we say else for this if. Else, then we need to change. We need to say, let's take our entity and we'll run the change state method on it, and we'll pass it a bat attack string for the corresponding state. Change state to bat attack if we are smaller than 10 or equal to 10 of a distance away from our player. So all we're doing in the bat attack state right now is literally just we're assigning animations, which is the original animations, but when we draw it with a color of red, just so that we can see if we're in the bat attack state. So I'm hoping this works. I'm hoping they get close to us and then turn red. It'll be like a dark purple. Let's see. No, we cannot process AI on a bat attack state with no process AI. So we need, since we're running process AI on our state, we have to give our attack state a process AI method. And I think even if we just return nothing for now, it should cease crashing. And let me just take a look at the walk state. We do have params DT player, so maybe let's just see if just returning is fine. I'll move closer. And we're looking for red. Yes, 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 yes. So when they're red, they're in the attack state. So what the attack state process AI doesn't have any tracking or anything like that. So we need to change them back to the pursue state if we walk out of range of them, like we just did. So it looks like we're triggering the attack state right, but in our process AI, what we should do is say And we have all these methods we defined for the pursue state, which makes me think we should kind of refactor the distance to player method to be an entity method instead of a state method. So that does make sense. I'm half tempted to just do the lazy thing right now. We can refactor it, but look, we have this where we say get distance to player, calculate all this junk. This is the stuff I don't want to copy and paste, because we shouldn't need to copy and paste it. We should just write it once. But let's give us this function. Takes in a player and an entity. And then that's the same distance logic. So what we want to do in our process AI is get the distance. So we can say, let's go ahead. And how do we run it? It's a function that doesn't take, it's not a method, it's just a function. So we can just say get distance to player, pass in player and entity. So let's say in our process AI, we're going to say get distance to player, takes in a player, which we're going to put, do we put G player, global player in there, and entity, which would be just the entity from our state. Are we able to do that? Doesn't look like it. How do we do it in the walk state? Takes in player and entity, and then in the update, where do we do it? Get distance to player. Player self entity. Okay, so that's how we do it. So player is the, we've got to pass in parameters here to our process AI. So it looks like in here we say params, delta time, and player. Okay. So we're getting the distance to the player. Then what we need to do is say if the, and distance to player modifies the entity's distance to player field. So we have to ask if our self.entities distance to player is greater than that 10 threshold. Having a circle around the player that checks if any entity enters it in attack state and enters. Yeah, see, I think that's a great idea. I think that's what we should do. I think we should move the distance to player method out of the states and put it on the entity itself so that we can check the entity's distance. Oh yeah. So you're saying, yeah, having a circle around. You know, I haven't done circle collision detection before, which I guess would be pretty easy now that I'm thinking about it, because we can use math and the points of the circle, because in Love2d you define the point and then you define the radius and then it'll draw the circle around the point. So it's kind of based off the center area of the circle. So that is a good idea to have a circle emanating from our player. It's just that I don't exactly know what entities are going to do what, you know, because the bat's attack state is closer, or I guess further than the geckos, because the geckos are always pursuing you and they just walk into you and try to kill you. So they're kind of always in an attack state. So it kind of depends on the entity, but I like that idea for thinking of new entities to add. And we can say if we get further than that 10 pixels, Then we want to change our state back to the walk state. So we can say change state bat to the bat walk. And then if the distance to player is greater than 10, change to bat walk. And then we need to, you know what? I think we already are processing our AI. Yeah, we are. I don't think we need any update there. So let's see. They should turn red when they're in attack state, when they get close enough. Yep. And then if we leave, they should track us again. Nice. Yes. Cool. And if we pass them, they turn into attack state real quick. So that, I think that makes sense. Maybe check for a ranged attack state. If an entity does not have a ranged attack, then assume they have a melee and will continue chasing. Yeah. You know, there's going to be an episode here, probably after the demo's done, where we kind of plan out all the enemies we envision for all the biomes, because we can't really design the levels without knowing what bad guys exist in it and how we want the terrain to play into that. So that's something I think we'll tackle once we get around to more different entities. Because right now I don't know exactly what the enemies need to have as features just yet. So this is a cool kind of test trial to get some different stuff. Now they still fly away. They still fly away when it's paused for whatever reason, and not when it's paused in this state. I don't get that. But okay, this is really cool though. It's coming together. So we have an attack state. They're switching over to attack, and it switches off. And you know what? Like, this is like a good stopping point, as sad as it is, because I've got work early in the morning, and if I take one more thing on my plate tonight with programming, I'm probably going to be up to midnight. So I think I'm going to call it here for this at least. And let's just make a note. Let's make a note, and we'll leave ourselves some notes here for maybe we do circle radius for player to trigger attack states. And then we need to I think we need to factor out distance to player into entity class. And the big, we need to bug fix the bats flying after chest open. I still don't know why they're doing that, but we need to track that down. So that'll be our work for tonight. And I'll say added attack state for bats. That's all we did. Yep. But yeah, sorry for the short stream. I got started late tonight, and I've got work in the morning, so I need to get to bed. But here, we'll rate out. Let's see what Hypnotic's up to. Hypnotic is playing games. Let's see. Let's see if Brightside is programming. He's doing a tier list. Okay. I always like to try to raid people who's programming. Oh, Arya is doing some programming, I bet. Let's see. Yeah, we'll raid Arya here. Yo, thanks for hanging, Squinch. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging. I'll be streaming tomorrow probably, so I'll be around, and hopefully it's a longer session than today, but yeah, we'll raid out here. Thanks for watching. Oh, I forgot to run the credits. My bad. Yeah, let's run the credits as we get bats on the screen. Cool. Yeah, I need to run credits as soon as I look for someone to raid is what I need to do. But yeah, tomorrow, I think tomorrow is going to be good. We're going to work on getting some projectiles from the bat to attack us. And then also we need to add us